Alright, it's time for issue 4 of Nintendo Power, brought to you by the Knights of the Black Lodge. This is Greyfox37.
And hey, everybody's favorite asshole showed up, Ardeth76.
So yeah, we got Ardeth in the house today to look over this, and this is good because obviously since Ardeth is the oldest out of us, he was alive during this time, and we can break down things and have nice discussions there. Just before we continue with this, just a quick heads up, Pikachu's going to be coming with the Maestro tomorrow and everything, so we may actually have an edition where we're going to have the Maestro on the official mic and not over the phone. It's a very, very long personal story, so we're not going to get in depth, but we're going to be adding finally the 5th member. Can we turn the house lights up, please? That's where we were supposed to say we had a bloody 5th member of the friggin' group.
Matlock! Maestro!
So, Maestro, if you don't know, is Pikachu's boyfriend. So, it'd be great to have that. So, I've been excited for this issue. This is the Zelda II issue, and right away, looking at that cover, it excites the hell out of me.
Not gonna lie, my inner fanboy is popping a boner right now.
Oh yeah, I love the little kind of like, I don't know if that's like a net or chainmail setup there, but I really like that. I love the glowing sword. The princess, they even have like the original like Zelda princess with the darker hair rather than the blonde hair, and did a really good job with the longer hair there. And I guess they got rid of the cap because they probably thought it was a little too Peter Pan-ish. I actually was Link for Halloween when I was like 5 or 6, and people kept mistaking me for Robin Hood or Peter Pan. And I was like, does Peter Pan or Robin Hood carry this shield?
The funny thing is, I actually used to go as Robin Hood, and people thought it was Link.
Ah! So we had opposite issues.
Yeah, that's what happens when you live in Bizarro World.
So yeah, let's open this baby up here. Really looking forward to this. So let's see here. Oh, whoops. Whoa, we went way too far ahead. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. And it's still there. Let's get back to... Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's use the slider, and there we go. Okay. So there you go. Now they're offering these free pins, so when you order certain subscriptions, you basically get like a silver pin or a gold pin, basically, depending on what you did there. It's like, fill it out and you'll get a free power pin. But, oh yeah, they didn't start doing that till around the further episode or issues, but you'd get kind of like these flight pins and stuff like that, so yeah. There's the supplies that they reviewed, and especially that LGN piece of shit there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was terrible. Yeah, this wireless ultimate super stick, you would take this plastic thing basically and stick it onto it and then like pilot with it. It was just crazy. There's the Zoomer joystick, Mega controller, the NES Advantage and Max. Those are, out of all of these two were like the winners right there. Especially when this made an appearance in Ghostbusters 2 with the Statue of Liberty. That was fucking awesome.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Wonder what? Is she naked underneath all that? She's French.
Yeah. I don't think they had Nikes, yeah, when they at the time they built her. All right, so here's what we're looking at. I obviously told my Andre the Giant Lonely Virgil story, so we've got that covered on WrestleMania. Captain Nintendo again, before he became the legend of Captain N, is right there. There's the very first video game, my Nintendo game my brother ever owned right there, unfortunately. And I don't know why the hell they reviewed it, but I guess, hey, it's for the kids. So. Yeah. And then we get to the good shit for Zelda II. Skate or Die, meh, another Howard and Nestor comic. And then, yeah, good stuff that, good stuff that Howard created. Counselor's Corner, Classified Information, Marble Madness, Operation Wolf.
Man, I used to play Marble Madness and Operation Wolf in the day.
Yeah, I rented Marble Madness from Blockbuster once. Unfortunately, we got to go. They're going to show John Elway's Quarterback, which is right there. Fuck that game, but at least we'll get to Tecmo Bowl. And there's some more Metal Gear there. Like I said, great concept, just buggy as hell, unfortunately, but it spawned the legend.
You said it wrong. It's Metal Gear. You got to add that Kojima accent to it.
I stand corrected. Now, if you look right there, That's the very first issue. This is upcoming as the very first issue of Nintendo Power I own is the next one after this. So there's the excitement that's going to begin there. One of the best Nintendo games ever made. So we're looking forward to that. So yeah, let's keep going forward there. So here's the WrestleMania, and here's the ugliest fucking Hulk Hogan look I've ever seen in my life. They got Andre the Giant's drunkenness, pretty much down there. And then, Bam Bam Bigelow, that looks okay. Honky Tonk Man looks like he's missing teeth.
Or possibly a whole set.
Out of all these guys, it's Macho Man all the way.
The Macho Dragon Randy Savage is here to blow up your Skyrim. Oh, yeah! And by the way, he was the most awesome thing that ever happened on Dexter's Lab. Behold, my boy, the champ, the eternal epitome of victory, Rash Lord!
Also, I remember they got him for an episode on some, he actually went around the Flash cartoon circuit for a bit, which was pretty cool. So if you thought zooming ahead, if you thought these designs were bad, it's gotten a hell of a lot worse.
Funny thing about that picture of a Hulk Hogan, it actually looks very similar to the original Neo Geo model for Muscle Power from World Heroes. And that character is actually based on Hulk Hogan.
It does! You're absolutely right!
Yeah, I mean, if you played World Heroes 1, that's basically Muscle Power right there.
Yeah, I played that, or gave that game a try when I was in Vegas, when arcades, littered, the strip and everything like that. I know what game you're talking about, yeah. And I don't know what's up with Andre the Giant. He's probably thinking about his cock fingers and that pussy sandwich and whatnot, more than likely. But that's what he looks like in the Nintendo game. Big boot kick, and then he looks like that Nightshade. Nightshade will be upcoming in issue 34, I think, the Link to the Past issue. But he reminds me of that dumb burly dude, one of the Sudeth's evil villains from Nightshade. He's got that same body build there, that doofus body build. Holy shit!
I'll tell you what he's doing. He's taking the Man in Black's advice. He's dreaming of tall, sexy women. Princess Bride
pussy sandwich, yeah. There's Elvis.
Whoa.
Yeah, that. Oh god. I mean, I bet you Virgil probably has a cut out of this. Oh, he looked uglier than I did. Yeah. And then Bam Bam Bigelow. This is a fine drawing here. I mean, this is the best drawing out of all of these. Macho Man just looks like a fruitcake there, basically. But yeah, Bigelow looks fucking awesome there. And then Honky Tonk Man's oh yeah.
I tell you, I'm feeling the Bubba Hotep with that picture.
A hunk of burning love.
He's so weird looking in that he could almost be the Kings from Fallout New Vegas.
And then Ted here, he looks like he wants to murder your children. He looks so scary.
He looks like he's gonna lead the Viet Cong and Wonder Woman against the American insurgents in Vietnam. Just saying.
But when you're a kid, you didn't give a fuck. You're just oh, art drawings, yay! So here's the next issue of Captain Nintendo. I'll let you guys pause it at any point so you can read it if you want to. So basically, there's that. Oh boy, look, we got Link. There's Link, yeah! Super excited. And then there's a little piece of Mother Brain right there. So hell yeah!
And look at that, children. Link invented the Bro Fist way before PewDiePie.
They're doing an awkward handshake, but it does kind of look like a Bro Fist. I like that.
Pop it like it's hot, Captain.
Writer's Showcase Contest. Attention to all of you aspiring winners out there. Got a story you've just been dying to tell, or a plot that you've been letting simmer on the back burner, or maybe just a flicker of an idea that you toyed with from time to time? Well, the time has come to put those brilliant ideas on paper and enter the Nintendo Writer's Showcase. Contestants should write a video game-related short story between 1,000 and 2,000 words. Entries should be typed and double-spaced and postmarked no later than March 1st of 1989. There's no age limit, and a panel of judges will select the winners. Now that's awesome. Judges will be based on creativity, originality, and overall composition. The first, second, and third prize winners will receive scholarship bonds of $500, $250, and $100 respectively. The top winning entry will be published in a future issue of Nintendo Power. Imagine thousands and maybe millions of people or read your story. Is that great or what? So go nuts, be inventive, send us the video game related story universe. And this, my friends, is how Captain N was born.
Well, you know, that show's writing was so terrible, it practically was fan fiction.
Pretty much.
It was pretty much legalized fan fiction in cartoon format.
But again, when you were a kid, you didn't care. You know, you did not care whatsoever. You were so happy. Excuse me, I'm a little congested, I apologize. You were so happy to see, you know, your favorite Nintendo characters on there, even if they were caricatures, basically.
Yeah.
You were super happy to see, like, Simon Belmont, to see Kid Icarus, to see Mega Man, you know, like, the big stars. It was cheesy, but man, when you're a kid, you were just like, who gives a damn? Same thing with Super Mario Brothers, Super Show, and Mario 3. It's like, okay, the dialogue's terrible, you know, it's just, it's hilarious, but who cares? This is fucking Nintendo, baby.
You know what the sad thing is? Even as bad as the writing was, it's still light years better than Thundercat's Roar. Can I get a hell yeah?
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh. So here we go. We get to Sesame Street. So basically, it's a learning game, obviously. You know, it's like, dear parents and grandparents, introduce the younger members of your family and neighborhood to the NES with these fun naming games. So it was great, very innovative for its time, because the PC at the time was basically domineering the market in learning games around this time, and home PCs were starting to slightly take a form in the late 80s. So they weren't common, but they were starting to be there. Like, I had a Commodore 128 that had learning game cartridges on it. My dad used it when he was a captain in the Army to program COBOL, basically, you know, do COBOL programming. So when this came out, you know, my parents were thrilled, because then my brother was able to pop the cartridge in and he could learn. But me, on the other hand, you know, when you're an older kid in the household and stuff, how old was I? I was 7 at the time. You're an older kid in the household and everything, you're rolling your eyes, groaning. It's like, come on, I want to rent Blaster Master or something like that, you know?
I think I was 6 years old when Mom got our first Apple IIe.
Ooh,
which,
boy.
by the way, back in the 1980s, you had to be rich to have an Apple II, man.
Yeah, I remember when Windows 1.0 came out, and then I loved that one tape deck hard drive and things like that. Good times, you know, good times.
Or those paper-thin floppy disks.
Oh,
you know,
man.
kids always taking the old ones and trying to use them as frisbees or razor blades.
3 1/4, and don't forget 3 1/2. Don't forget the 5 1/4, the B drive. Oh man, yeah, those were the frisbee ones. There, I had Mega Man DOS on the B drive on a 5 1/4, because the 3 1/2 floppy wouldn't work on our 486-25 for some reason. So we got we used the B drive, and we had a Gravis joystick, but it didn't work with it. So I had to play, you know, fucking Mega Man DOS on the keyboard. Oh, it was hell.
And hey, fun fact, kids, the original version of Castlevania, the very first pilot game, came out on a Commodore system.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So
Haunted
Castlevania
Castle.
got it started on the PC.
Yep, they called, and then they had in the arcade as Haunted Castle, and I actually played that back in like the 90s. Like they're still common, but back in the 90s, there was a boom of go-kart tracks that would also have have arcades that would have unlimited gameplay, and you'd use like a card or something that kind of like similar to Dave and Buster's. And I actually played a lot of classics like Magic Sword, you know, which is one of our favorites.
Oh, I have that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also played Haunted Castle, and I said to myself, this is a lot like Castlevania. I'm like, then I later on to find out, it is Castlevania. Holy shit! Good times, man. They actually have a Castlevania arcade game where you have like a whip you can slash at the screen. Have you seen that? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It kind of reminds me of like a Magic Sword from Neo Geo's arcade library. That was a fun game. That was like first-person sword fighting.
You know what else was good? Those Neo Geo game systems with like Ninja Warriors and Metal Slug. Oh god, I wish they never. You know, I tell you, if you were a kid and you vacationed to Vegas in the 90s, oh my god, it was arcade heaven. Time Crisis, House of the Dead, Street Fighter galore, Marvel vs. Capcom galore, Mortal Kombat. Then you have the Neo Geos. They even had some NES Play Advantage systems there. You know,
I remember that Circus back in the day.
Yes. Circus has renovated big time and stuff, but we should probably do a video on Vegas experiences sometime. Now I'm starting to, God, this astounding, woo, it's all shivering all over. That was gay, but anyway.
It was gay, but it wasn't Nathan Lane gay.
Bravo. So here it is. This is what we've been waiting for. I love. There you go. I love the artwork on this. It's so good. And this is from the instruction manual. So the hero of Hyrule begins his new adventure, but the trail will be long and perilous. So, so we'll read this off here. After the fall of Ganon, Princess Zelda knew the secret of the Triforce, but refused to tell it to a great sorcerer. He then cast a sleeping spell on her. What it actually turned out to be was actually it was her brother that basically had it cast on her, because this is a different Zelda that comes from northern Hyrule. So she's like so in the continuity, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the continuity she's the original Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I remember, she was the original Zelda, and this is like part of the original timeline before the divergence.
Yeah. So this is pretty much hologram. I always love it when Nintendo games expand, like Castlevania, for example, when they expand their lore and then they make you go back, because when you were growing up, you always wondered, how the hell did the Belmont family get involved with Dracula? Then, Lament of Innocence shows that. And then in Zelda, you're just kind of sitting there kind of wondering all aspects. Do Zelda and Link both have, basically both have ancestors and descendants and things? So you start wondering that, and they expand on that. Is there anything beyond the land of Hyrule? And then they started expanding on that with Link's Awakening. So it's just so awesome how innovative these games were. Now I'll keep reading here and then we'll get to it. Years have passed since Ganon's defeat, and Link has grown since that epic struggle, but much evil still remains in Hyrule. As foretold in legends, a man of royal bearing would come to save Zelda in Hyrule, and his hand would show a mark. So basically, to overcome the evil forces, Link must find the third piece of the Triforce of wisdom and power. The Triforce, wisdom and power he has already. Now he must find courage. So this is where the Captain N episode came in, where they divided them to green, blue, or green, red, and blue, which ironically became the colors of the pendants in Zelda Link to the Past, but they were different. They switched the colors around on it. Now, what's great about this is it's also the Zelda TV show that played the power and wisdom, but they didn't throw in courage. They didn't do that till the Captain N. Now, and thus Link's great task begins. So they talk about Hyrule has greatly changed. Not only has Hyrule greatly changed, I mean, this is northern Hyrule. So when you were in the original Legend of Zelda, it was southern Hyrule. And there's going to be a cool thing I'm going to tell you guys about when we get to the map and everything, if you don't know. A lot of people, like diehard Zelda fans, know, but I always kind of, play a little, you get, maybe some of my viewers don't, or our viewers don't know this. Not only has Hyrule greatly changed, it's large, but this entire game is completely different from the other Zelda games we're used to. It's a side-scrolling game, so you travel on the overworld with the overhead map. Enemies will come at you and everything. It's like Ultima in a sense. Enemies are on the world map, they'll come to you, but then you get into an action sequence where you side-scroll through it, you fight enemies, and you gain, guess what? Experience. So this is the first Zelda game to introduce experience points, making it more of a true RP. Now, 8 is the highest level for your attack, magic, and health. So attack obviously makes your sword stronger, health gives you better defense, and then magic helps you consume less MP. 8 were the highest levels. Now here's the cool thing. When you beat the game, Zelda 2 introduced the very first New Game Plus system. You could go back through the game with level 8 across the board. You still had to get the magic decanters and the heart containers, but you could go through with higher stats.
I also have a story about this.
Sure, go ahead.
At the same time they were doing this and introducing, the concepts from this game into the TV show, they also had a tie-in comic from the fledgling company Valiant Comics, who you probably know from Exo Man of War and stuff like that. And well, the thing is, the very first one they tried were actually video game tie-ins, Legend of Zelda and Super Mario. which were running concurrently with the TV show, the video games, and the Captain N. So a lot of the stuff you saw in those actually made their way into the comics and vice versa. Actually, I used to have a couple of those issues, and they were pretty bad, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Valiant Comics was really cool when they took the ambition. We were actually going to be devoting like a video series to that. Valiant Comics actually did the Nintendo comic system, so they actually did like Captain N and Metroid and Super Mario. They even had like a Game Boy version, which was a little awkward. Yeah, but I mean, the artwork in it was pretty good for like late 80s, early 90s, I have to admit.
Yeah, and a lot of the early Valiant comics, most fans won't realize this, but their superheroes actually existed long, long before. I mean, Solar Man of the Atom was actually from all the way back in, like, I think the 30s. Turok was, I think, started in either the 30s or 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Magnus, Magnus, the robot fighter, he's one of the older comic book characters they had. In fact, almost all of them originally came from older comics that got consolidated into this company. It's kind of the same thing with like the X-Mutants. If you ever saw those piece of shit Malibu ones, the X-Mutants got started as an independent comics in the late 70s as a spoof of the X-Men, and it became just more popular, but the indie comic scene kind of died out towards the 90s.
Now what's really funny though, I'll say this, despite the fact of Valiant's shortcomings and heroes and everything like that, I think we can both agree that they're a hell of a lot better than what the crap that people are putting out today for Marvel and DC, to be honest.
Oh, testify, man.
Yeah. Oh, God, that New Warriors, just, I want to throw up in my fucking mouth. And these are people that... I mean, they don't know, like they claim to be comic book fans, and then you just realize they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, to be fair, it's hard to come up with your own. It's really, really, really hard to come up with original ideas today because just about everything's been done. I'll give it that. Like, this is something that Pikachu and I talked about. But there's still ways to just kind of find creativity, but everybody just wants to rehash things and replace like male characters with female or like non-white people and things of that nature instead of being original and whatnot. I don't, as long if the, like, for example, Nick Fury, having Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought he did all right, considering and everything. I didn't really have too much of a problem with it. It's just when you start putting him in for diversity factor and things of that nature, but they can't act for shit, that's where the problem comes in. Or if it just turns out to be like some kind of gangsta-licious sort of thing, or just some kind of snooze and whatnot. But that we've already been down that can of worms.
The funny thing about Nick Fury is, technically speaking, the white one is actually still in canon, except now they just use it as like an evil android body double. But in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 on the PS2, you can unlock Nick Fury and you can get either the white version or the black version. And they both have the same moves and they play the same. And he's actually pretty awesome too. Yeah, try using Nick Fury, he's badass.
Very nice. Well, here, I love when Nintendo Power does this. Again, I pointed this out like when it came to Zelda, the first Zelda with the second quest and the first issue. I love where they give like this map drawing is beautiful. It's so good for an 80s style, and I'll get to this in just a moment because this has a lot of precedence here. But yeah, so basically, if you never played the game, like this shows like what everything does, but I'll do a quick run through. Magic jars would refill 1 block of magic. Treasure bag basically gives you experience from anywhere between 50, 100, or 200 points. Heart container obviously gives you an extra block of magic, a health there. And I say block because the health bar and the magic bar are showing up as blocks as opposed to hearts, or like a green bar that you normally see in today's games. Magic container I call the decanter because it looks like a decanter report basically, so that gives you an extra block of magic. Candlelight's dark cave, so yep, you still have to use the candle light things up. Hammer basically on the world map when you're walking on the overhead, you can cut trees down with it and boulders that are in the way, so this helps you progress to other places in the game. You find this in Death Mountain, which is a really tough area, just like where you find level 9 in the first Zelda and stuff. Yeah, it's a really tough area in this one. handy glove. I just call it the power glove because it's so bad. The power glove here basically lets on the action scenes will let you break bricks. So it's pretty cool that you can do that. The raft. This will help you get to a further part beyond, beyond over here. Like there's another part of northern Hyrule that you'll get to and whatnot. It'll get you to like level 4 and everything like that. So or Palace 4. So basically, that's just, and there's only one place you can use the raft in the game, and that's it. Wing boots will help you walk across water. They're crucial to getting like a heart container and getting to Palace 5. The flute basically gets rid of the river demon, so you can get to the Valley of Death and then the Great Desert. And there's another item that they don't have showing here, the cross. The cross essentially is what you'll need to get into the Great Palace from what I've heard, but also it's used basically to show like the Moas, like invisible enemies and stuff. Like there's a ghost town of Kasuto that's been taken over by ghost Moas, and basically if you don't have the cross you can't see them. So if you go into that town to get the very important thunder spell, you keep getting hit over and over. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you find out. There's also magic in the game, but before we get to the magic, there's attack moves that you can do also. There's 2 soldiers in the game. One's in Darunia, and then the other one is over in Madaro, that teach you some cool moves. So one of them basically teaches you how to jump, and you can strike down and stab enemies. You can do like the sword ride, as I call it, where you're hopping on the back with your sword ducking down, and Link looks awesome when he does that move. And then you have the up strike, basically. Now that looks a little goofy, but what's also handy about it is you can break, when you have the power glove, you can break bricks that way to move down, or even break them to move up, because there are a few places in the palaces you visit, which we'll get to, that basically require you to break bricks. Magic. So this is just kind of going through a couple things here, and my keyboard's on the fritz for some reason. Okay, there we go. So you got shield magic that raises your defense. Life magic restores health. That's a very expensive spell. Jump magic helps you jump higher. Fairy magic turns you into a life-giving fairy. So there are fairies in this that you can jump into and they'll restore your health. You can find them on the world map or sometimes in palaces. And what happens is that you turn into a fairy. Not only is it handy to get through and fly through some areas that you know, like over lava and stuff, but you can fly through keyholes too. Yep, you still have to find keys for doors in this game, and it's pretty cool how you do it. Fire magic will help you defeat some enemies. It also shoots fire from your sword at long range. Difference between the American and Japanese versions. In the Japanese versions, you could kill the Tektites in it without using fire magic. In the American version, you have to use fire magic to kill them, otherwise when you strike them, they're immune to it, which I think is ridiculous. Reflect magic is crucial because it reflects wizard spells, and you need it for the 4th palace boss for sure. Spell is basically, which always makes me laugh, you need it to get the magic key in New Kasuto Village. You use it at the end. If you don't have a strategy guide, you probably wouldn't have figured it out. I didn't know about it till I read Nintendo Power. It'll be in the next issue. But you use it at the end of the village, and it raises this huge temple up, and then when you go into it, instead of finding a wizard that teaches you a spell, you basically get the magic key, which means, like, you know, hey, no more keys, and you need that for level 6 because there's no keys around it. Thunder Spell is very crucial because it damages all enemies on screen, and it's the weakness of one of the 2 final bosses. So there you go.
Also, I should point out that the Handy Glove, aka the Power Glove, does have one other use. It summons Captain N.
Clever. Man, and I thought I was going to learn something new today. Damn you, Ardeth!
Actually, there is a real trick, tip I can give you. That jumping downward strike you can learn from one of the guards. Kind of useful for some of the more annoying enemies. Just the big heads up there.
Yeah, like the Iron Knuckles. Oh, man, I tell you. And for, like, oh, speak of the devil. It's very handy against Horsehead. I was just going to say that there. So there you go. So here's the Servants of Ganon. So I'll let you guys can pause it if you want to read over and whatnot. So these are basically a lot of the enemies that you'll fight and stuff. So the Moblins are back, which is great. And then, of course, the Octoroks are back. Goria's back, the boomerang-throwing creature. There's the Moa I was talking about. And then, of course, you've got your, where was it, just some other, like, made-up creatures that came just into this game here. And Iron Knuckles are the most infinite, or infamous of all the new enemies and everything like that. They're kind of, think of Dark Nuts, but just basically think of them as a shield that moves up and down depending on what motion you're in. Now, what's really cool is in the next issue, they're going to be discussing Iron Knuckle strategies, which are very legit. One of them, which was awkward but actually helped me out, was an Iron Knuckle elevator move. Was basically, before I learned like jumping and attacking at them, the elevator was very handy. I lured an Iron Knuckle over to the elevator, and I kept like striking him and stuff because it was hard for him to aim, and I kept moving down so his shield would move down and I would strike. So what's really cool about that is that Nintendo Power does have some helpful tips for you. They really, really do. But these are the bosses on the right side. Now, Barba, what's interesting is a lot of people now, because of like the further Zelda games, consider this Volvagia from Ocarina of Time, which I can accept, you know. So I think that's pretty cool that they're kind of doing a throwback homage to a lot of these bosses here. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So basically, Link sets off to meet his destiny, and again, you can pause here to read everything. So this is the first area. So this is the North. This is the North Palace for Northern Hyrule. So Zelda's sleeping in this. Like, you start the game, and above there, she's sleeping on top of an altar, basically. And you know, you sit there, and it's just like, damn. And then you hear the dun, 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 and you're like all excited. But then they change the overall music, and it's like shit. You know, it's good, but it's kind of like when you go out to in Ocarina of Time, you know, the overall theme they have for that, you're just like, where's the overall theme, damn it, you know, I wanted the you know, it's like, damn it. So you're kind of ticked at it. So there's these, so you get to visit towns in the game. A few of the villagers are helpful, and then of course, I mean, at least they're not, you know, bad translations like in Castlevania 2, which we reviewed in the 2 issues ago. But you know, some of them will be like, "Hello," or "I cannot help you, sorry," and then you sit there, it's like, "You're lucky I can't kill you, NPC." And this, of course, like the Reto and Raru village. If you recognize these names here, Ocarina of Time, the 6 sages were named after towns in Zelda 2. Like Princess Reto of the Zoras, and then like Raru, who is the Sage of Light and stuff like that. So they're all named after towns in this game, if you didn't know that, you know, if you're coming from the younger generation. So sometimes in the overworld you could walk into places and you'll find like secret places. You walk into towns, you could find caves. You know, like this cave takes you to Parappa Palace in the Parappa Desert, and you know. So what the objective is, you're given 6 crystals by Impa. You have to put 6 crystals in the altars to basically open the way to the Great Palace at the end. In the Great Palace, that's where basically you find out the Triforce of Courage is being held, and then you basically, you know, fight through it. Now, I drew a map, like I did an arrow map of the Great Palace. Guess what design it was?
Let me guess. Swastika.
A skull.
Ah.
Just like level 9. Yeah. I was shocked at it because my brother and I designed it ourselves, because back then that's what we had to do. We had to draw maps from scratch, much like the Nintendo Power Hotline people did. So we drew an arrow map from scratch to get to the final boss, and lo and behold, yeah, it was taking the form of a skull, and we were just like, holy shit. You know, it's incredible. So, this design, a really funny joke where there's a few types of people you can go into. Like, there's quests that you have to do. Like, if you go to this desert cave, you'll find a statue in there, and you bring it over to Reto Village, and then the wizard will teach you jumps. So there's quests that you can go on where you have to, like, find a kidnapped child, the Water of Life, a mirror, things like that. And you bring them to these people, they bring you inside, and as they open the door, you go inside. You talk to a wise man, because every town has one, and you get a spell. So, what's funny is that there's 2 other character types that come out of homes. There's an orange old lady that refills your magic. And then there's a red dressed lady that looks kind of like a senorita, I'm not kidding, that refills your magic. So then, as the society became more and more lewd, you started wondering, gee, I wonder what she's doing to restore his health by going inside.
Well, yeah, and did she also say something like, let me do something nice for you before she took you in?
Yeah, like, well, I don't remember if she said that. I think that might have been like a meme that spawned it and everything. But you sit there and you're just like, holy shit, you're just like that. I wonder, then you start thinking, I wonder if it's like GTA 3 style. It's like, bouncing the car.
Well, I mean, of course she was refilling your magic. I mean, finding a hot girl that nice in a village out in the middle of nowhere, that's magic.
That's real magic. Your life. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it with an old lady, but anyway. Unless she was like the hottest thing in the world. But anyway, yeah.
Hey, little boy, I have Pokemon in my home.
Right. So, like, I love how every area has a name and stuff. Like Tentari Desert, Parappa Desert. If you go down here after crossing kind of like some jumps with bubbles like flying up at you, down here there's actually your first heart container and stuff. And then the magical decanter is actually in a cave that's over here too, the first one you find. So just bear in mind that there's actually stuff there, and it's really cool. If you walk around, you can bump into things and stuff. So these are what the palace design. I love how they draw these maps. It's just so cool. So these are what the palace designs look like. The palace stage music is so fucking good. Oh man, I love the remixes, but it's just, I mean, if you've never heard Zelda II Palace theme, look it up. Listen to like some of the renditions, especially the techno reboot. It's amazing. You'll hear it. You'll be like, oh, this was in Smash Brothers Melee, and it's like, yeah, and it was a good one too. When you defeat a boss in it, like here's what happens. There's an item. There's a major item that we went over earlier that you have to collect from each palace to progress through the game. I mean, some of like the candle you don't really need, so to say, if you're like feeling ambitious, or brave. I'll just say that because caves are difficult in the dark unless you're a speedrunner. But basically, it's you want to do that. So if you beat the boss and you collect the special item, if you can kind of make it out, the palace basically crumbles. So it becomes kind of like a mountain, little design there. So these are what the crystal altars look like. This is always where you're coming up to a boss, is by basically these stage. Oh, yeah, curtain. I was right. These these hanging curtains look like and stuff. Stage curtains. Boy, I'm like losing my mind. This is the second palace, which is in a swamp, and if you travel in the swamp in the overworld or in an action scene, yeah, it's not poisonous, but it's super fucking slow, like in Castlevania 2. You move so fucking slow, and it's fucking annoying.
I'm on an urgent quest to save the world, and I'm just going to move as slow as I can get in there.
And how you can differentiate between each palace you're in is by the colors. So, it's very clever that they change the colors, and some of the brick designs are done differently. This is the Island Palace. Getting there is really cool. What you do is you go into this mass graveyard that's in the northern part. You find this like grave to the south of the King's Tomb, and then you fall, and then you end up on the island and everything. Now in Zelda 2, yeah, they're talking about the Island Palace. They're like, it's the Island Palace. That's where they're at. This is the palace that they're talking about, basically, in Captain N there. Then the Palace of Maze Island. Now, Maze Island's interesting because you have to go through these, these paths where when you're on no terrain that can cause enemies to appear, but then there's going to be, like, random spots that'll pop up that'll basically put you into action sequences. Also, this is where the kidnapped child went to get the Reflect spell, which is very crucial when you take on the boss right up here, the Guardian. So make sure that you find that kid before you go in there. That's your Nintendo Power tip of the day. It felt so good to say that, I feel like a game counselor, jack me off, but yeah, like I said, I love how they do this for Zelda. I love the artwork on the side. I love like all the tips they give. So basically the adventure goes on. So the next issue, you're going to see all of this. Basically, they're going to show all of this off. For the most part. So, Link has come through far through countless dangers, but through weary and bruised, he knows he cannot rest. 2 more palaces he must conquer, and then the most secret chambers set in crystals. Still to be found is a mighty power of thunder. People both evil and good will cross his path, and somewhere ahead, waiting in the nightmares, the great palace. Zelda's life and all of Hyrule is at stake. Your wait will not be long, for further secrets are revealed. In March, we will aid you in conquering the guards of the 5th and 6th palaces, as well as offering many other insights. So yeah, basically there's some cool shit ahead in the next issue there. What lies in the depth? Yeah, Hell's Road, or Death Canyon or whatnot, or Hell's Road and whatnot. Yeah, that's one of the toughest parts in the game. If you think the Great Palace is tough, getting there is yeah. So, before we proceed, here they're showing like basically a cutaway of the map. So this is what like Maze Island looks like. Three Eye Rock. That's all. That flute is also crucial to get into the Sixth Palace. There's the graveyard and things. But here, if you look at this area here, what does that area kind of remind you of?
Wait, which area?
In the southwest here.
Oh, isn't that the original game right there?
Yeah, exactly. When you look at the overworld, there's Spectacle Rock, there's level 9 right there, and this is in the game here. There's the graveyard that's on where you find the Master Sword, as they call it now. It used to be called the Magical Sword. There's the little lakes in the center and everything. This is where like level 4, I was right, level 4 is. So yeah, this is basically Southern Hyrule right here. That's what I was going to point out. And here's the Death Mountain expansion, and this is all Northern Hyrule. So it's kind of like when you play Dragon Quest, and you're an Alfgard, and then all of a sudden when Dragon Quest II, you just realize how insignificant Alfgard is. It's just like, whoa, there's all this shit to the east, south, and southeast of Alfgard. There's also this entire like dark area and everything. And you sit there and you're just like, holy shit. And, it's like, I didn't realize there's all this. Then you get to Dragon Quest III, and all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, this entire map in Dragon Quest II is an underworld? There's a surface world, so it's great how they expand upon that in the first 3 games. Like, Dragon Quest 1 through 4 are like my all-time favorites for Dragon Quest games. My god, they're incredible.
For me, my moment like that was Castlevania Symphony of the Night, when you save Richter at the top of the castle, and it's like, wait a minute, there's another castle and it's upside down?
Right? Yeah, the inverted castle.
Oh,
yeah.
And by the way, I brought my PSP with my copy of Dracula X Chronicles. I can show you what you need to do to get the 206 completion without cheating. It's actually a pretty simple trick, you just need to be aware of it. Yeah, nobody ever tells you about it.
Huh. Well, that's really cool to know. Oh yeah, there we go. There's Nabaru Town, and Nabaru, of course, is such a hot Gerudo. There's Darunia, which is up in the mountains there, so pretty cool how they just got all these names there. Kasuto and whatnot. Yeah, and there's a Saria, too. I think... yeah, there it is. Saria Town right there. That's a river town. You have to find Bagu, basically, in the trees there. And
remember, children, stay away from Ruto Town, because I hear there's a horny, thirsty mermaid living there.
And then there's... and then there's also... I Am Error, Never forget that classic name. So now I'll just kind of move on. There's that crazy artwork that I love from some of the super fans. So Skate or Die. So it's a skateboarding game where you basically obviously get to go to maps to do tricks, or you can do like later on, like in the second one, you can do like mall delivery and stuff. So I mean, I'll admit, it was pretty innovative what they did with Skate or Die 2. Like the first one was basically just doing tricks and stuff, but in the second one, what was really cool was they'd have you do you'd be on a skateboard and they'd have you do like mall deliveries and stuff like that, and just kind of go expand it beyond. So these are kind of the roots of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, essentially. There, basically, these are like where the roots came from. So they're overhead and side views, but they were still fun because skateboarding back in the 80s and 90s were king.
This game in particular, like the Skate or Die 2 one, kind of reminds me of a little bit of like the later Paper Boys, Tubing. And, games like that where at first it starts off simple, but then they start adding new little things, really adding on to the series. That was something I loved about 80s games. If the games went like 2 to 3 or 4 games, they would start adding stuff. They wouldn't take it away. They would just find new and interesting ways of expanding on the old ideas.
Yep. And they even did a Ski or Die spin-off too, so if you're into skiing and snowboarding and stuff, they did that. So here's the points from the pros, so they show you basically what all the moves look like and whatnot, so if you ever want to break your bones or anything like that trying it, there you go. There's some simple diagrams. So then, I love the three dudes that you go against. So you got like Poser Pete, and it's like, hey man, I remember when you select him, it's like, hey man, just take it easy, I'm just a beginner. And then Aggro Eddie, it's just like, yeah, if you want to rock with me, I'm not tough. I'm really tough. And then Bionic Lester, all he says is like, skate or die, So it's pretty funny there.
Poser Pete, so that's where he got it from.
Yeah, I'm just an amateur.
I had a cousin who used that as an alias when he got in trouble in elementary school. It was like, who's Poser Pete? And I'm like, really?
I gotta tell you a funny story real quick. You know how a lot of the classes, because of COVID-19, how a lot of the classes are actually being done through Zoom now, online? There's been people that have been doing what's called Zoom bombing, where they've been crashing the classes and stuff like that and coming in. One person called himself D Snuts, and what was funny was one of the professors saw the name and was like, "Who's talking right now? Is that you, Mr. Snuts?" He's all like, "Is that you, D Snuts?"
Yeah, I'm looking for an L. Last name Alcoholic.
Right.
Is there an alcoholic here?
Well, one of my favorites was when Nelk are these these just raunchy Canadian dudes that basically do like a lot of pranks in America. Like people will send them old shirts and vests from like Walmart, McDonald's, things like that, to basically go and pretend that they're going to start working there and shit. And I loved it when one of them came into a Zoom class and was like, "Sorry I'm late, guys. I just came back from my dog's transition operation." And I'm just like, that's fucking awesome. There was another dude that kind of looks like Ted from Bill and Ted that actually crashed a Zoom class and crashed like a gender studies class. It was so fucking hilarious how he basically was just making a big deal out of the identity and everything and just was acting just like him. It was gold. It was pure fucking gold. So yeah, definitely look those up on YouTube. Pikachu and I were going to do it. We were going to Zoom bomb, but unfortunately when they were saying like the FBI was starting to look into that, we were like, it's not worth the risk. Some people have actually been arrested for it too, which sucks.
That reminds me of like the early days of the Jerky Boys with Uncle Freddy,
right?
Frank Rizzo, open up your fucking ears, Leatherneck.
Right. So here we go. Here's the latest Howard and Nestor issue. So we're seeing them outside of Konami Air. Hey, Nestor. Let's see here. You made it to the track and field 2 Olympics. They wouldn't start without me. I wonder which gold medal I should win first. Have you seen the coach? Can't he see I'm busy? So there's the joust there. No, Snap. Some help he is. Do you know where the coach is? Who? Splash. So, he's distracting all of them and everything. Hey, where's the coach? I've got to check in. Hi, Nestor. Oh, no, not him again. And it's Howard, of course. We got to hurry. The triple jump is starting. Did you warm up yet? Nah, that's for amateurs. Nestor, look out for that discus. Yikes. You've got to be careful. This is serious competition. I bet he planned that. Let me help you up. Thanks for nothing. This is easy. Just a hop, skip, and a jump between me and the thrill of victory. Ooh, excuse me. We just had some lunch, so pardon me. Remember the angle of your jump, and the first jump's between 55 and 65 degrees. The last jump shouldn't be more than 30 degrees, and most important, your timing is critical. I'm going to show him it's really done. Look out, world. Here's the Nestor Gold Rush! Faster, Nestor, faster. This must be the Aggie you defeat, D-Trips. I guess that's all from the Olympics. Who knows who we'll meet next time? He's got a shovel ready to dig Nestor's head, which is stuck in the sand. And, get me out of here before they give my medal to some bozo. So he's all dreaming about being number 1 when he's a number 2.
No, he's going to use the shovel to go full Triple H on him.
So here's some Super Mario 2 tips from the Counselor's Corner. How do I get to the other side of the water in World 4-3? I figured this one out on my own. I was just like, yeah, we can stand on top of the eggs they launch. Can we fly across the water? There it is. And then where are the warp zones? Yeah, this was awesome to learn. I actually learned this from my neighbor across the street when I lived in Tennessee. So this was really awesome to learn there. Bring the potions over to some of the tubes here. You go down them and it's like, did-it. You're going to the next level. Jack me off, yeah. And then, like, it's like, sometimes when I beat the Fry guy in World 3, there's no door. What should I do? So, wait, no door? So, you know, that's like one of the little glitches in the game. It's so cool that somebody actually brought that up and they answered his question. So that was pretty cool there. And then Golgo 13, there's some handy maps there. You know those are hand-drawn, basically, by the game counselors. And then Wizards and Warriors, such a great game. Where do I find the red key in the lava stage? Zelda First Quest, how do I get through level 7? So, you know, they show the Cobra, and it's like the secret's in the eye, baby. That's what you got to remember. And you have to make sure you have bait to get past the monster. So there you go. Gameplay hotshots answer your questions. So we got Agents, is that, yeah, 069, or 159, sorry, it's like Agent, or it's Agent, sorry, it's Jim Mueller. Joined Nintendo January 20th of 1988. His hobbies are computers, investment, analysis, and playing Nintendo. Highest game score, Rad Racer, 102,500. Favorite NES game, Metal Gear, and Star Voyager. So these, like I said, these are what nerds looked like in the 80s and 90s. I miss these days.
Yeah.
Cliff Hammond, joined Nintendo February 1st, 1988. Hobbies, sports, arcades, and playing my NES. See, even gamers had the sport hobby on the side. They were real men back then.
You know what the funny thing is? In Fatal Fury, if you check the instruction manual in the Neo Geo release, it'll show Terry Bogart's hobbies and interests, and their sports, eating pizza, playing Neo Geo games, and spending time with his pet monkey and Blue Mary.
Of course, it says playing Neo Geo games because got to sponsor that SNK flagship.
Dude,
yeah.
in the anime, he actually is playing Neo Geo games.
Oh yeah, in the movie, yeah, of course. Highest games were Solomon's Key, 7 million. Favorite NES game, The Adventure of Link. Okay.
Nice.
Then you got Castlevania Simon's Quest. How do I find the clue books? And they're not really that important, but some people are completionists and stuff. What do the crystals do? How do I get past Yuba Lake and Deborah Cliffs and enter Berkeley Mansion? So that goes back to the crystal stuff I was talking to you guys about in the last recording there. So definitely important to learn that. Then we got the next agent, Dave Conley. Joined Nintendo August 6th of 1987. All right, hobbies, water and snow skiing, windsurfing, scuba diving, game accomplishment, first person at Nintendo to finish Golgo 13. Favorite NES game, Golgo 13. Bravo, he really worked the M16 well then. And then last but not least, we've got Dave Conley's long-lost twin, Brian Tanny. They look at him. They look eerily similar. You know, joined Nintendo February 1st, 1988. Hobbies, games, gaming, all types. Video, board, role-playing, computer, writing, reading. Game accomplishment, beat Metal Gear in 1 day. Damn. That's the most impressive I've seen so far. Wait until later on. You're gonna wait till we get to the Mega Man 3 issue. You're gonna learn about the guy that the total quintessential early 90s dude. You're gonna tell by his haircut and his style. He beat Contra with the Power Glove in like 15 minutes. So yeah, so you know that's like one of the most impressive that I recall. Right. So favorite NES game, Legend of Zelda. Can't blame him there. So classified information, you got your Double Dragon. You know, great game there. So they kind of show you a few tips to get through a lot of the missions and everything like that. Mega Man special strategy. Sure, they show the Elect Beam strategy. So what happens is that in Mega Man, aside from the weird point total that they would have, you could pause the game in one of two ways. You could pause it to bring up your weapon menu, which is very common in every Mega Man game, and got better and better as the game series went on. And then two, what would happen is that you could actually press the select button and just pause it on the screen. The music the music stops and everything. And what you could do is you could pause the Elect Beam while it's hitting the Yellow Devil, for example, in this, and then you can keep hitting the select button over and over, and as the elect beam passes through the character, it keeps damaging them. So that's the quickest way to beat the Yellow Devil. They call it the Rock Monster because Devil was, not NES friendly.
Yeah.
Life Force, build a fleet, Gauntlet, double agents, so it's pretty cool with that. Key play for Blaster Master, Bionic Commando, alternate weaponry. So pretty cool little tips and tricks there. You can pause it if you want to read it for sure there. Track and Field 2, like I said, not really an interesting game there. So if you have access to anything to real special in your game or exploits, you could send them in, basically. So, that's pretty cool that they would do that, and then the agent gets all the credit. So here's the Marble Madness game that I rented for Blockbuster once, and I took back. It's not that it was hard, it was just more so puzzle games really aren't ultimately my forte, or more so my interest. But what was your memory about this? You're mentioning Marble Madness.
Yeah, this was a very, very odd game, especially if you played the arcade, because it had one of those rollerball track controllers, so you needed precise hand movement, hand-eye coordination, focus. This was a very balls-hard game in the arcade. That was the only place I played it. So yeah, I kind of rage quit it a little early, not gonna lie.
I remember Centipede with that rolling ball on the, it, covered in pizza grease and other unmentionables.
Sometimes you'd get really lucky and you'd find the secret sauce on the roller ball, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, unmentionables, yeah. So what you would do basically is you'd roll the marble down and make sure you didn't get hit into certain things and, just basically find your way to the end. So it's kind of like an over-glorified Q*bert in a sense, except Q*bert was a little bit more fun, I'll give it that. Look at this fucking badass artwork for Operation Wolf. Oh, man.
That is too much America for this
Yeah,
screen.
no kidding. I love it. This is like the next to the front cover, this is the best artwork of the entire issue so far.
We just need to have some Team America playing to make it complete.
So it's a rail shooter, so basically the screen scrolls to the right, enemies appear on the screen, you move the target over them and you shoot them. There's things in the background that you can shoot, things like that. So it's kind of like if you played Terminator 2 in the arcade, it's a lot like that. So it's cool that they could bring that home for you to enjoy. It kind of reminds me of when House of the Dead was on the PC and you would use the mouse to move the target and everything, which made it so fucking easy. It's easy to target with the mouse on those types of games. They actually made a light gun system in the late 90s for the PC, but because there were barely any light gun games out, it was pretty much pointless. It did work for House of the Dead, though, and if you ever want to get, if you ever have a thing where it's like forgotten PC accessories or something like that, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there. I'm sure they probably have something of that, because they do have series for, lost hardware for PCs and stuff, so yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, I actually know this because I had this, but the best House of the Dead games ever were on the Dreamcast. I had the Saturn, I had the Dreamcast, I had the PS2. Dreamcast all the way for light gun games.
Wasn't that the one that had, wasn't that the one that had House of the Dead 2 that had that fishing lure that did a lot of damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see, he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. There was also typing of the dead, where you would type letters and then you would shoot the... it was cool, though. I mean, it's a great way to learn typing where it's just like, I'm going to shoot the zombie faster. So, I had a keyboarding class when I was a freshman in high school. So I had a keyboarding class, but how I learned how to type was basically I was a chataholic in those anime chat rooms when I was 14 and on, and that's how I learned to type fast. I went from pecking to super pecking, so I know where all the keys are, but I don't do the home row thing. I can type 2 fingers at a time and type super fast. So that's how I learned how to type fast, was just basically being an isolated virgin introvert at the time.
The funny thing for me is I'm so old. In our house, we actually used to have one of the old school IBM ink ribbon typewriters. You see Resident Evil.
Yep.
And then we had the Commodore 64, we had the Apple IIe, the Macintosh. I mean, I grew up with all the old shit. Betamax, VHS. Back when Muppets were still on those big-ass brick cassettes.
And then I remember those keyboards that had those like kind of like curly cables, much like a phone receiver. Oh my god! And you'd like plug them into the side of the computer or things like that. The old PS2 ports and whatnot.
Or dial up on the Dreamcast. You know, you're about to put the kibosh on the third-rate boss form of Dark Falls, and then da-da-da.
One of my friends that was in Hopi Lodge when I was at the University of Arizona played Fantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast, and watching him plug in that phone line into the phone port that we had in the dorms made me laugh every time. Like, he even started laughing at it too. And I'm just like, so it wouldn't kill him to make like an Ethernet port, you know, like an RJ45 rather than an RJ11, you know? But I mean, this is what we had to work with in the late 90s and early 2000s. Like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, the funny thing is, in Project X Zone, they actually make fun of that. They have Sagata Sanshiro in there, and there's this one scene at the end where they're like, you know, I heard the Dreamcast had dial-up. I wonder if it could access the world, you know, from like that one hack game. It's like, hold on, let me concentrate for a moment. It's like, congratulations, you logged onto the world. Amazing. It is powered by the dreams of children. It was so stupid, but I'm like, do your own thing, Sagata. Go with that.
Well, guess what we're getting into now? NES football games. And the first one we got up on board that they showed was Tecmo Bowl, which is fucking awesome. So 100-yard touchdown passes, baby.
This was the only football game I was ever interested in.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Tecmo Super Bowl was way better, but yeah. John Elway's quarterback can suck a left nut and make the right nut jealous. And then NFL football, meh. You know, but yeah, Tecmo Bowl is where it was at. You know, this is my favorite of the three games. I like that I can choose my favorite NFL team, program sweeps, and pass plays, and intercept passes on defense. The game is very true to life and No, I love what he said up to that point. That's fine. I mean, this is the Nintendo, so we'll cut him a break there, but you still got to get a laugh. This game is very true to life and precise. So what you're telling me is that there were people at the time that could throw 100-yard touchdown passes. Like, they show, okay, if you remember the Nerf torpedo footballs, and you would see those pro stars, it's like, wow, John Elway, wow, Joe Montana, wow, Brett Favre. They would launch that sucker like 100 yards, you know, with that stuff. So they would demonstrate that and everything. So this is where I sit here. So you're telling me that you're able to throw, in real life, throw 100-yard passes with a regular pigskin. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to press X to doubt Cole.
Seriously.
You're right. Okay, I like your ass. Now you're telling the truth.
And then I like the very fact that players' names are displayed, and that was really cool. That was one of the very first games to do that. And then they give each other a high five after a touchdown. The game was fairly easy to figure out, and any Nintendo fan should pick it up immediately. So basically, he's right. Now Tecmo made it. Tecmo around this time was so innovative with their cutscenes. Like, they did it in the Tecmo football games, Ninja Gaiden. It was just incredible to watch these, like, little, like, you know, these little scenes play out with all this awesome artwork. And you're just like, holy shit, they drew like a real player. Holy shit, they drew what Ryu looks like and Irene and everything. Damn, you know? I mean, it was just, they were freeze-frame scenes, but for the Nintendo, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Just amazing.
I mean, you have to remember, like, this was back when they couldn't even make Mega Man red, because that was what they originally wanted. Mm-hmm. The original developer wanted red, but the color palette for the NES couldn't handle it, so they turned them blue. Yep. That's why you got Zero in the X series.
Yep, Blue Bomber, baby.
But he's right, man. I mean, back in the day, that shit was world mind-bending.
Oh, yeah. It was very innovative, you know. John Elway's quarterback. This game has great graphics. John Elway's quarterback is one of the worst. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, my brother, we had a 5-day rental on that game. My brother returned it after 2.
Yeah, my thoughts on that statement. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Yeah. Oh, my God. You know, Just reading that alone is making me cringe, and I am sitting here just starting to chuckle. This game is, these are, and you know, okay, and even I mean, look, the NES isn't going to blow you away with anything today, but even for its time, thinking these are great graphics, unbelievable. Like, okay, look at Tecmo Bowl. These were great graphics for the time frame. This was the late 80s. This was great. Look at John Elway's quarterback. It looks like an Atari game. You know, hello?
And the sad thing is the Atari 2600 could pull off good graphics because Popeye on that system was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And Popeye the Sailor Man 2, punching you like a garbage can 2.
Summary, all three of these games are excellent football games. I like Tecmo Bowl the best, no surprise. Tecmo Bowl is the best out of all three of these. So NFL football gets the big section, but then Tecmo Bowl takes a back seat. You know, they're John Elway's quarterback. See, these are great graphics? These are great graphics? Are you smoking crack? You know?
I do cocaine.
Look at Tecmo Bowl here. Look at Tecmo Bowl here. You know, this is what it's all about. This is fucking awesome.
You know, I wasn't even a sports fan, and technically I'm still not, but I love the shit out of Tecmo Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, this is the original, but Tecmo Super Bowl, yeah, that was way better. The Super Nintendo version was awesome, too.
The only football game I ever played that I liked more than this one was Mutant League Football on the Genesis, but that was because they had, like, landmines and decapitations. And zombies fighting with orcs on the football field.
And then eventually when Monday Night Football would come out, they had a new innovation which starts what you see in a lot of football games today. Basically the back view. And also Bill Walsh's College Football did that. But what's funny about that game is they named a lot of teams after the cities that they were in. So instead of calling Notre Dame, and they did this, I believe, to avoid copyright at the time. So instead of calling Notre Dame, they called them South Bend. And then, like, instead of calling BYU, they called them Provo. And then they called, Penn State College. So they named the teams after the cities to avoid, like, copyright and everything. But then you had teams like Alabama, Miami, Arizona, which I thought was great they had in it. They just named those teams after that because I guess they just didn't give a fuck. And usually a lot of times what they would do is when you would have the next year's game come into development, like later on they'd have like NCAA football 97, 98, things like that. So Bill Walsh's College Football comes out on the Super Nintendo around 1990. I want to say I think it was like 1990, so like some like the 90-91, somewhere around there. And what they would do is they would display the I think maybe it was 1990. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was I believe it was 1992. It came around. So what they would do is they would display who the previous year's national champions were. So they had like 92, Alabama won the national championship against Miami. So they had Alabama and Miami basically as like the front runners. Then when they got in the NCAA football games, they would have like Tennessee, Nebraska. Whoever won whatever was the national championship, they'd have as the first teams displayed for home and away. So I kind of like that little thing there. Oh yeah, look at all those old 80s cheerleaders. I mean, there were some people that wore uniforms, or girls that wore uniforms like those. Nowadays, it's just like bosoms and busts, baby.
The way God intended it, man.
Yeah, right? So yeah, this is how innovative Tecmo Bowl was. This was what they had. They had real designed artwork that would basically show, play during halftime. That was just fucking awesome. And Tecmo Bowl would just have, like, when you come to close calls and stuff like that, yeah, they'd be like, touchdown and stuff. They'd have, like, the little newspapers and everything. They did this for the baseball game, too, so it was just really great. God, I love that Kyle Reese, style right there.
Yep. Call me crazy, but this is actually how I prefer to see Solid Snake.
I'm fine with it, too. I'm perfectly fine with it, but hey, the new design was fine. Basically David Hayter was awesome voicing him for sure.
Oh,
he also
definitely.
he also voiced the Jedi Knight in the Old Republic MMO, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, look at this. This is what Metal Gear originally looked like. So it looked like this mech here with this big ass gun on the shoulder. So they show you maps and everything of how to get through every area, which is pretty cool here. I'll just let you guys pause it if you want to take a look at it there. And You know, they show like the floors where you have to get like the key cards and everything of that nature. So pretty cool that they do that. They show those maps, but damn, that game was so buggy and tough.
You know what really kills me about seeing this original screenshots from the original Metal Gear is now it kind of reminds me of all that tomfuckery with the Phantom Pains, you know, where you find out that the big boss from this game wasn't the real big boss. It was just the guy he kidnapped and then brainwashed into being big boss for him.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Oh, did I forget to mention Captain Spoilers in the house tonight?
No, you're fine. I mean, yeah, I stopped after 3, to be honest. So, you know, it just, when I saw 4, it didn't appeal to me, really.
I just love it when people say Kingdom Hearts went off the rails. I'm like, I'm sorry, doesn't Metal Gear still exist?
And then when I found out that 4 was basically, like, I mean, the Metal Gears just became, like, 10 minutes of gameplay and then, like, 45 minutes of cutscenes. It's like, oh, boy. So, Friday the 13th, you know, such a really, really cheesy game there. They got World Games, so basically it shows, you know, sporting events from around the world. Oh, boy. Star Soldier just it kind of reminds me of The Last Starfighter is Dead. Yeah. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, we don't talk about that game. Oh, man. That game is god-fucking awful. Bump and Jump was a dune buggy game. Kind of reminds you of 80s mornings cartoons, you know, right there.
Hey, I mean, Pole Position actually got a cartoon in the 80s, so why not?
That's true. Rampage, always a classic.
Yes.
Monsters Destroying Buildings, such a great game. I mean, these are so innovative. So it's, if you've seen like Wreck-It Ralph, it's similar to that. And then Othello was a very interesting little puzzle game there. So it's good that they catered to people who liked puzzle games. Robo Warrior, I never played that personally. I like the artwork though. Kind of reminds me of Klaatu there.
By the way, real quick about Rampage, there's a PS1 version where they kind of got like a little animated, really hot scientist girl who apparently accidentally let the monsters get loose, and she's organizing the military to try to stop them. And after each scene, you just see her kind of like watching the damage, and she's rather well endowed. Kind of reminds me of April O'Neil in a lab coat, and it actually was a lot funnier. It was basically the old game, but with updated graphics, some new features, really interesting cutscenes. It was one of the best versions of Rampage out there. I mean, you could do some really fun stuff in that one.
Rock on. But I just think of the day the Earth stood still when I see this, you know, Klaatu there.
Yeah.
So, Spy vs. Spy, we talked about that in the last issue, good old Mad TV. Gyrus. So this is kind of like a Galaga, I want to say a Galaga spin-off. Instead of flying on like straight ahead on overhead, you went around in a circle and would fight enemies. It was a fun game. Have you ever played this game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. You basically fly around a circle and the monsters would come straight up at the screen, so it kind of gave you that 3D illusion and whatnot, and you'd fire down at them and like take out parts of their bodies. Like the bosses were awesome. This is a really fun game to play. I'll tell you that. And lo and behold, there's Cubert. Hey, we're turning red or blue. Hey, yeah, are you going to eat us? So I think it's good. No, he's not going to eat us. Sorry, come on, let's go to Cubert's.
I love how that game got flack for him cursing on screen, even though it was like all written in like letters and symbols and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, Cubert was a really fun game where you'd basically jump like on an isometric board and just basically avoid enemies, collect power-ups, and then like turn black to yellow and whatnot. So yeah, it's one of those games. Packwatch, a look into the future, Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, this new game from Tecmo got the highest marks of any title we've seen in a long time. And hey, can you blame them? This is one of the best platforming games on the Nintendo. One of the super fucking hardest, but one of the best.
Oh yeah.
All the ninja moves that you could muster and everything. Great fucking soundtrack too. So I really, really can't wait to get to the next issue because they're going to be covering it in the next issue.
Plus, it's not like Ryu Hayabusa would show up in a really sexy fighting game later on. Hint, hint, hint.
Gossip Gremlin. We're the Gossip Gremlins. Oh, dear Lord. Now, can you imagine if somebody today was looking at this with the eyes like, oh my god, you're being ableist and stuff. I remember I got in an argument with somebody. I'm like, I don't care if Webster's dictionary, recognizes ableist as a word. It's just it's basically just a manufactured word that basically Webster, decided to accept because they just didn't want to piss off the wrong people. I mean, that's my theory about it, ultimately. How you doing? We're the Gossip Gremlins. We've been hired by the Nintendo Power Staff to sneak around and find out things that nobody else knows. Some of these things are just being whispered about, but hey, nothing gets past us. We're Gossip Gremlins, Anyway, go ahead.
Gosh, man, that sounds like such a Tumblrism, He looked at me with his eyes.
Yeah.
I felt molested.
Right? This post assaulted me. So you got pro basketball, Magic Johnson fast breaks, hoops, one-on-one, yippee. Gossip about RoboCop, fuck that game. Bayou Billy, which is basically Crocodile Dundee. Bad Dudes, which tries to be so hard to be Double Dragon but falls short. Defender of the Crown, that's a very interesting game there. Guardian Legend, never played that game there, but looks pretty stupid. Knight Rider, unfortunately it didn't live up to anything. Airwolf, which is kind of a Top Gun-ish simulator. It's so funny how Nintendo had their great innovations for flight simulators, and then the PC expanded on that so well.
Fun thing about Airwolf, that was actually a live-action TV show first. And
That's
pretty
true.
Fun, too.
Oh, be darned, that is true.
Yeah, and Knight Rider, of course, I can't let you do that, Michael.
Good old Kit. Gotta love it.
Indeed, man.
Which further also proves my theory. Germans love David Hasselhoff.
Dude, have you ever seen that commercial where it's like, this is your fan. This is David Hasselhoff. Don't let your fan get too close to David Hasselhoff, and it's melting while he's eating a cheeseburger shirtless. I was just like, come on, Germany. Just tell him where you want him to stick it.
But I loved how Dodgeball and Eurotrip expanded on that. It's like, this is I'm David Hasselhoff, And I loved how good of a sport he was about it. That was great, especially when he came on Saturday Night Live with Norm and was just like, read this. Germans lovely, which again proves my theory. Germans love David Hasselhoff.
I just laughed so hard when he made that appearance in the SpongeBob movie. It's like, David Hasselhoff, hello fellas, and then he's swimming in the water like a dolphin making the noises. I was like, oh my god, if you keep that up, Jutaro Kujo is going to jump in the water and fuck you.
So, just around the corner, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's not the best game in the world, but it's not the worst. Let's just say that. They're young, they're genetically enhanced, they're highly trained, and they're reptiles. The Irrelevant Quartet is coming to the NES. First they were a cult hit in the comics, then Saturday morning cartoons, still love them today, the originals. Oh, yeah. And the comics were pretty serious shit, I'll tell you that. Man.
Fun thing about the comics, they actually killed Shredder in the first issue, and he didn't come back for a whole year.
Yeah, fun thing about the Transformers comics, Megatron was only around for the first few issues, and then Shockwave overthrew him, and then he got overthrown again. Ratbat turned out to be a sentient creature that was more the beyond than just being a cassette. He actually was the fuel analyst for the Decepticons, and he actually became the Decepticon commander for a little bit too, after overthrowing Shockwave. So it's just incredible how the comics, let me tell you something, comics in the 80s, that was like the peak pinnacle of just brilliance.
And they were dark, too.
Yeah.
I actually had the issue where they had that Autobot trader who tried to redeem himself on Cybertron, and then he got thrown into that smelting pit, and they pulled him out when he was already halfway melted, and he handed that information to the Autobot. What was the tape player for the Autobots?
Blaster.
Blaster, yeah, he hands it off to Blaster, and then Blaster's just crying because he knows he's going to die. He's like, he was a true Autobot to the very end. And
yep.
The 80s comics were fucking dark.
They were. violent too. And they also showed like so much beyond just what was happening on Earth, which is what I loved. You got to see pretty much what was going on across the universe. When they did the Matrix quest, you learned of Thunderwing, who was just this, sadistic, obsessed, Decepticon warlord. And what I loved about those series was that they basically did an homage to books and movies. They had one planet, Pizzazz, which is basically like the Maltese Falcon. Then they had kind of a Western sort of thing. I don't remember which one they were spoofing with that particularly, but they had a Western theme. Then they basically played one off of Moby Dick with Longtooth obsessed with this whale. Then, of course, they went to the planet Viscus, or the moon Viscus, which was Cameron's third moon. Now, you probably are thinking, James Cameron? Yep. Basically, the Matrix warped a predator on that planet and turned it into what looked like similar, not like the alien xenomorphs, but basically, you could clearly tell it was a whole homage to Alien, the movie Aliens, which was awesome.
One of my favorite badass Optimus moments of all time was one of the most shocking ones, too. Like, I think it was when they introduced that one Decepticon warlord you were talking about, and he fucked up so hard they lost not only him, but the Matrix of Leadership. So Optimus, realizing they can't beat Unicron solo without it, basically surrenders to Scorponok, who is one half, like, one of the two teams, and you see, like, the flashbacks of him, like, never surrender, I surrender, and Cups Yellow is like, the Prime I remembered never would have surrendered, he never would have quit. We're going up against a threat we can't win against, Cup. Without the Matrix of Leadership, we stand no chance against Unicron. We must unite if we're to stand any chance against him.
Exactly.
In order to win this battle, we have to show the highest level of strength, something we have never done, something we never wanted to do. And then he basically, to convince Scorponok to work together, he stages a mini coup and whoops his ass. And he was infected because he didn't have his Power Master Haikyuu with him.
Yep.
And he still humiliated Scorponok on his ship, with all of his soldiers having none of their weapons, none of their headmasters, none of their target masters. And he still humiliated him.
And what was worse, even worse at that time, the fused Ratchet Megatron came back, and that was the most disturbing image I saw when I was a kid.
Oh, I remember that.
It scared the living hell out of me. I mean, hell, even Unicron scared me too. Unicron was ruthless, sadistic. He was the best rendition of Unicron, hands down.
Oh, absolutely.
And then what Prime does at the end with the Matrix after he's trying to purify it, and the Matrix doesn't want to. I love how the Matrix was so fascinated with violence that they basically became impure with Thunderwing and became dark. Unicron was thinking, oh, it's over and everything, and then of course Prime takes it and flies right into Unicron with it. And I think they did that in the Armada video game, didn't they?
I didn't get that far, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, sorry for the tangent, but it's just the Transformers comics were out of this world. Definitely, if you can you'll find them on readcomics.io. They're a really great read there. It's so in-depth. You learn about the true origins of the Transformers and their total purpose. I mean, hell, Emissary Zaron gets, he's one of the other Autobot leaders on Cybertron. Basically, he gets possessed by Primus's essence, and Primus and Unicron kind of try to duke it out and everything, but I mean, it's a really awesome battle at the end, just seeing everybody having their own ambition to attack and whatnot. And then, of course, I love watching Shockwave trying to basically analyze it. It's like, analysis, I have no analysis. He's my favorite Decepticon.
Oh, hands down.
But take a look at this. Enter now for a chance to win these prizes or a player's poll contest. Over 150 winners, one grand prize winner, NES Accessory Bonanza. I feel so bad for any kid winning this.
Yeah.
I mean, for nostalgic purposes, it's whatever. But winning that, I just feel like, can you just like can you just replace this with a video game, please? Second place winners get a copy of Zelda 2, and I wonder if it's a gold cartridge. That'd be pretty cool. Exclusive Nintendo Power jersey, back when those little striped shirts were big. So at the Power Poll, you ask like which game was great and did you like the most? Well, I'm gonna have to say hands down Zelda 2.
Yeah.
It's the dark horse, but yeah, there you go. And it's like, how old are you? So now we're at that point in our lives where instead of choosing number like 2 or 3, now we're in our lives where it's like 25 or older. It's just like, how many games you see purchasing and everything. So now the library is up to 118 games there. So there you go. and that's what you'd fill out. So there's the contest, become a power critic. Oh man, I'd love to do that.
Oh,
I wonder
yeah.
if we should start writing postcards there, just pretending they're still around. It's like, what? They got returned? What? Announcing the hands-free controller. So this is the NES Journal here, and you could pause there to read it up and everything like that. Let's see, we've got another 800 number. So let's see here. Let's see, HFC directly to consumers through our consumer service number, 1-800-422. Is that a 26 or 28? Let's try 2802 first. Watch, I'm going to get this wrong, but let's do that. Let's do 1-800... No, it's a 6. Okay. Because I'm looking at the 8 on the 800, and it looks different than that. So, 422.
And Nestor needs to get some sleep. He's got baggy eyes.
2602. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we dial this.
Hi. Thank you for calling Nintendo. We're experiencing a high volume of calls, and there are a lot of people waiting to talk to a support specialist right now. You may want to visit our website, support.nintendo.com, for faster service. It has answers to most questions, and the option to chat with a support specialist, text us, or set up a service ticket. If you'd rather wait, please select from one of the following options, and we'll answer your...
Since 1989, the number is still up.
Wow.
That is fucking awesome.
Service you can depend on.
Man, we tried that other number before, and they were just saying, like, this number is retired or something of that nature. So that is really, really cool.
You know
I
what
like
the sad
that.
thing is? That means Nintendo's service line for Nintendo Power is more reliable than all of the service lines for Sega I have ever used. And Microsoft combined.
And, it's no wonder because Nintendo bought out Sega, so there you go. It's so funny how Nintendo ended up winning in the end. After all the shit talking.
I told people, Sonic thought he was hot shit in the 90s, but now he's basically blowing Mario to make guest appearances at the Olympics.
But I do love the commercials that Sega would do. Sega! And then that one dude, Segi. Here's the Play Choice 10 consoles, arcade machines. And there's Excitebike on it. So what's great about it is, if you ever watch the movie The Wizard, which is something that we are going to watch and do a commentary of for this channel, basically, it's going to be great memories. So, when we do that, you'll see that. So you could play Nintendo games in an arcade box there. These were littered over Vegas, and also when I was living in Tennessee and even Texas at the time. I loved them so much.
They used to have 2 of those over at the Golf and Stuff back when we still had a Golf and Stuff in Tucson. Yeah, they had a few of these all over the city. You had to look for them, but they were there. And they always had like Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, Castlevania 2. Man, they had some good games on those.
Hell yeah. So, basically, you could read up about it there. So, just to give you the general gist of it, you could play Nintendo games in the arcade away from home, which is cool. So, there's the little books, the little book guides that they keep, pimping off and whatnot. So now you go to Soundwaves. What's new in rock and roll? All that's hot that isn't just on the video screen. Here's some exciting new sounds coming to you through the airwaves, too. Debbie Gibson, Julian Lennon, Huey Lewis in the news. Hello?
That's the power of love.
Yep. Is it me you're looking for? So yeah, basically, it's just great to see us. And of course, you'd be hearing this played in American Psycho, because he was a total 80s music nut there, basically. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Huey Lewis in the news. You ever heard this? No, they're too black. Hell, to each their own, but, he really likes it. He just didn't want to show it off. So, celebrity profiles. U.S. volleyball team captain Karch Karile needs a lesson or two on NES volleyball. And then you got the mailbox. Love that scene of Samus there with the Metroid. Yeah, these are what the Metroids used to look like, and that's what Samus originally looked like, so hats off. Yep, those are little knee pads. Ha-ha! And then there's there's Link, sorry, jumping out of the way. Oh no, the door's coming down to me. That's from the little tip or book or the instruction booklet that came with the game there.
Well, in Metroid 1's case, hats off or suits off if you use the Justin Bailey code.
So this talks about, how the save pack works for Zelda's memory and everything with the battery backup. The nice thing that's coming up for the Mega Man 3 issue, which I think is like 18 or something like that, is that they're going to discuss how like MMC graphics and like save packs work. So it's going to be a really fun read when you get there. So it's great that they would get into the technology of how systems work later, which is fantastic. It's kind of like reading PC Gamer, where they would basically talk about the breakdown of like how computer components work, so I really liked that too. So you can read these two on your own ear. So here's the little overachievers from the NES, but no, there you go. Let's see if anybody's representing Arizona here. Usually a lot of people are on the East Coast or from the Midwest. Hey, Tucson, Arizona in golf. All right, representing Tucson. I like it.
I remember my mom
Shitty game, but I like it. What's up?
I remember my mom told me she actually got to see Officer and Gentleman in the movie theaters, and when they got to that end scene, what's your name, boy? Where you from? I'm from Tucson, Arizona. She said everybody got up and went, yeah!
We did that in Speed when they were showing Speed on the university's movie channel. When basically Keanu Reeves was like, "You ever heard of the University of Arizona? Good football team." And at that time, they were a pretty good football team when Dick Tomei was coaching. Now they suck. But yeah, we were all cheering like, "Yeah, Wildcats represent!" And that's where the hint was coming in. You look the little Wildcat, Arizona Wildcats. Oh yeah, because back then I'll crack a joke from Martin Crane from Frasier. Notre Dame this, Notre Dame that. When a priest was on the sports show, and it's like, yeah.
Well, just remember, kids, if you're ever in Tucson, Arizona, and if you're ever in Arizona in general, someone asks you, "You a Wildcats fan?" The correct answer is always yes. Because if you
say
no,
yes!
Because if you answer no, wrong answer, boy. Click, try again.
So now we got Simon Belmont here about to whip it good. Got some Aryan-looking kid. Then you got this little stepladder secret that you can get in there. Brilliant. He's brilliant at playing the NES at the age of 9. Yeah, I've been playing it since I was 7. But anyway, 7 or 8. But anyway, then you got the little Metroid scene there. Power player profile. Yeah, there's a real geek. Oh, he's from Puerto Rico. Top 30. Super Mario 2 is reigning supreme again. Legend of Zelda's right behind it, and then Zelda 2: Adventure of Link. That's a solid top 3, except Super Mario 2 I don't think is worthy, basically, of the number 1, but, Nintendo Power would usually write a dick on Mario games a lot. Yeah. Double Dragon at number 4, which is fair. Metroid at number 5, which is fair. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out at 6. Million Secret Castle does not deserve to be in the top 10. Yeah. Nor does Metal Gear. But, Contra at number 9, that's good. Bases Loaded, yeah, that was a pretty good game. I'm not a baseball fan, but, it's still one of the better ones. Go-Go 13 at 11, fair enough there. 12 and 13 are Castlevania 2 and then the first Castlevania. I feel Castlevania should be much higher. Yeah. Gauntlet at 14. Hudson's Adventure Island, which is going to be in the next issue. That's a fun little game there. 16 Super Mario Brothers. 17 Kid Icarus. I think that's too low. 18 RC Pro-Am. Finally, that game's starting to dip. 19 Mega Man. Sadly, that's taken a dip. 20 1943. 21 Life Force. 22 Pac-Man. 23 Jackal. 24 Track and Field 2. I don't know why. 25 Double Dribble Corner 3 shots, bug. 26 Robocop, no. Yeah. 27 Xevious, never heard of. 28 Bionic Commando, that's a bit too low. 29 Top Gun, that needs to be out of it. And then 30 TNC Surf Design. So basically, the only 2 I ultimately question are just these 2 right here. They don't deserve to be in it.
I'll tell you something funny. I'm not sure if you remember this, but I showed you that Macross Delta video.
Yeah.
In the show, they actually make the joke where one of the pilots is ejected from his plane and his captain catches him and is like, Freya, what? Danger zone. There's an actual AMV where they show that. It's just hilarious as shit, man.
Players' picks. Super Mario 2 is number 1, followed by Legend of Zelda and Double Dragon. Fair enough. Pros picks. Zelda 2, Super Mario 2, and Legend of Zelda. Solid. Dealers picks. They got off the Metal Gear dick and basically do Super Mario 2, Double Dragon, and Pac-Man. Okay.
Well, you know, Kojima is a tender lover, and his dick pleases me greatly.
Missing link found at Nintendo. It's almost a clean sweep for Super Mario 2. Awesome is the word for Super Mario 2, of course. So, now we're getting to the back of it and everything. So you got, like, upcoming for the next issue, Ninja Gaiden, can't wait. Hudson's Adventure Island, can't wait. Finishing up Adventure of Link, can't wait. And let's read Howard's final. Dear players, are we ever excited? At press time, we were on our way to the giant consumer electronics show, which takes place in the city of Lost Wages. I mean, Las Vegas. This is a spectacular show where everybody in the electronics industry gets together to display their new hardware, accessories, software inventions, and game packs. Imagine we, along with 34 other licensed companies, were together under one roof. The number of new licensee companies has grown dramatically and now includes such familiar names as Milton Bradley. To them we all say, welcome aboard. With this, what this means to you is that more imaginations than ever are at work to bring you the greatest number of choices in the library of video games. From what we've heard, this year promises to be the most exciting year yet. And with this much info to report back on the March-April issue, will be the more powerful than ever in keeping you up to date with the best new games and helping you make the right game choices. So stick with us. There are monsters to be fought, people to be rescued, worlds to be saved, treasures to be discovered, and lots of great times to be shared. And in case we forgot, Happy New Year, gang. You see, Howard was such a fucking awesome spokesperson. I love the guy. A boat painter that just became a gaming nut enthusiast. And I'm going to be honest with you, this was the golden years of basically the gaming right here with the Nintendo. Just everything upcoming was going to start flying. Like, you got the Ninja Gaiden's coming up, Mega Man sequels galore, just a lot of good things. The Super Nintendo was like just around the corner, 2 years around the corner basically. So things were getting more and more exciting. These are the golden years of Nintendo power right here. The next issue, they're basically going to start also displaying power rankings. So they're going to do like your, sound, theme, fun, challenge, control, things of that nature. So then the magazine, after 4 issues, is going to start reviewing games with their own, little like rating meters. So that's going to be perfect.
I tell you, seeing this reminds me of how much I miss those days. Back when everybody could settle things peacefully with just words, Back when nerds wore business suits, and even if you hated somebody, it usually never resulted to a fist fight. There was no name calling, there was no pressuring people to go out of business, there was no harassing them into suicide. These were, in my opinion, one of the last few golden ages of nerddom.
And honestly, nerds did get made fun of, especially in school, but bullying only toughened you up. Like with me, I got made fun of a lot for playing video games and liking anime, and it hurt a bit, but it toughened me up to where I am today, where it's just like I can make fun of it and disassociate fantasy and reality and things of that nature. There are fucking adults today from my generation that can't even, we know both of us can't even fucking do that, and it's pathetic, and it basically does come from certain upbringings. But anyway. I love this advertisement with the hot buttons. And this is before Super Mario 3 was even out, which is great. So my brother and I would look at it, and it's just like, God, I want everything in that fucking... I want everything in that fucking, vending machine. So you got your black Nintendo logo hat, a Legend of Zelda, which looks like a puzzle piece or board game, the 4-way controller adapter, which was great for Gauntlet 2 and Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street. There we go. Punch-Out hat, Legend of Zelda Frisbee, Mario T-shirt, Mario Lunchbox, which I did have, the NES Max controller, and then Super Mario 3. I loved it when my folks got me Super Mario Brothers 3 for Christmas, and then I beat it before my birthday, and my mom got me a pin set that said "I Saved the Princess," which I thought was fucking awesome. And what was funny was my grandparents also got me a copy of Super Mario 3, which Mom let me trade in brand new, and I got a cool $40 off of that. Now, when you're a kid, $40 is a lot of money.
Especially back in the 80s, man.
Exactly. And especially when my brother, I think I mentioned this on video before, but when my brother and I had a token allowance system because Mom didn't want us to work with real money yet, basically you know, when you have actual cash, it was great. Now, what do you think I had to do with it? Yeah, I put it in a savings account. It grew in interest and everything, and it came in handy in college because that $40 that I had saved, basically I never took it out and everything. I was actually able to buy season tickets to a University of Arizona basketball when they were really good, when Lute Olson coached. So, you know, it was good times. Man, you know, great, a good issue. The next one's going to be even better. You know, I can't wait. So you're going to see a dude cosplaying as Ryu in a ninja outfit on the front cover. And there's going to be some awesome artwork and everything. We're going to see the very first rating system. They're going to explain it, and I'll read it off to you guys. So really looking forward to that. This is a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, Pikachu is going to be coming back tomorrow. Maestro is basically going to be joining us. I'm not sure if we're going to do any new videos yet. We may get around to it because I am off till Thursday, so that's pretty awesome there. So basically, everybody enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. You know, stay safe out there. Grill up some fucking hot dogs. Honor your veterans. You know, honor your current active military. You know, regardless if you're a Trump supporter or not, just remember that we're in it together. And if you're going to spread hate, do it as an ironic joke. Don't do it for realsies now.
Oh, and speaking of Memorial Day, I only saw this once, considering how close we are to Memorial Day, but PragerU put out an awesome Memorial Day video that I only got to see once on YouTube before it got flooded with, Mom's so great, Mom this. It's almost Father's Day, people. That was last month.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was earlier this month since we're still in May, but yeah. My mom's birthday is coming up on John Wayne's birthday, which is May 26th. My brother's birthday was on the 17th. And then, last but not least, are our birthdays. You're September 18th?
Yep.
I remembered, yeah. So basically, we've got Pikachu on August 20th, me on August 30th, we've got a friend of ours on September 10th, and then our other roommate Tyler on September 10th, and last but not least, good old Ardeth on September 18th.
Because, you know, I gotta be a contrarian asshole and do things differently.
Maestro's Day was December 14th, so, you know, he's the end of the lot, but, you know, since he has been a regular, that's what I'm just saying, last but not least with us, but once Maestro starts becoming a regular, there we go. We're going to be moving sometime next year, over the summer next year, so we're also going to be doing that. We'll be finding ourselves better lodgings and whatnot. The place we're staying at now is fine, but we need to get a bigger place because Maestro is going to be moving in with us next year, so we'll be getting at least a 3-bedroom apartment or a 3-bedroom home or even maybe a 4-bedroom home depending on what's cheaper. Ultimately, we'll be A-okay there, and I should probably be in my promotions and raises at that time too, so I'll be making even more money. New jobs going fine. I've hit a few challenges so far, but I will see myself through the best I can for sure on that. But beyond that, though, anything else you want to add, Ardeth?
Hey, Fox is going to be making it Wayne, son.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saving up money really well for the move. I've already got, $1,500 put aside for that in particular. I won't go into any of my other finances because I don't want people to be like, hey, can you lend me something? But anyway, I've got, particularly, I've got an account set aside for moving and whatnot, so I've got $1,500 in it so far. We're a year away from it, so that's only going to get bigger. We're not planning on going on any vacations for the rest of the year, so this is like the last vacation time I'm taking, and I'm going to be working my ass off for the rest of the year there. But ultimately, what will happen is that I will be next year using vacation time to move and whatnot, so we won't have any new exciting Vegas stories for a while, but we will be coming back with you with Nintendo Power, with games, with movie reviews, with bullshit corners, you name it, we've got it.
Yep.
Oh, hey, it was a blast. We're going to get to some tidying and gaming next and stuff. But hey, thanks for joining us. This is GrayFox37.
Everybody's least favorite asshole, Ardeth76.
And you guys keep it real.